video is about purifying your space, specifically the way that Native Americans do it. So what happens if we look at it in a scientific point of view? Air molecules harness positive and negative ions. Positive ions are harmful for your health, and negative ions are healthy. That kind of confused me at first because, positive, you always think great things, but then I started thinking about it more, and you want to think of it. Positive has a lot of charge, and an excess of energy is never so good. So when you have an excess of positive ions, you have energy like greed and hate, jealousy, probably fear. So what you want to do is obviously, reduce the amount of positive ions surrounding you. So how the Native Americans do it is they burn herbs. They either burn cedarwood, sage, or scented hay. And they do this to purify your surroundings and yourself. So it's always great to do it when you're meeting with new people, especially if you hold some type of spiritual, what's the word called? Just like I'll just say facility. A spiritual organization, I don't know. When you're meeting new people, you're going to want to do that. I know I love Teresa Caputo. She always shows herself staging the place where she's going to do readings with deceased ones. And so you see her doing it before the client comes in, but I'll explain to do it the proper way of doing it when they're in front of you. Other ways or other times that they like to purify is when you're making love, or before holding a meeting, or going hunting. So the smoke from these herbs hold the potential of seizing the positive ion. By the way, all this information I got from a great book. It's called The American Indian Secrets of Crystal Healing by Luke Borgaut. These are from pages 27 to 29. The cover looks like this. I'll be sharing a lot more information from this book about this. And so going back to it, you like to burn the 3 herbs, either one or the other, or if you're feeling really happy and you want to burn them all and you have them, go ahead. So sage, cedarwood, and scented hay have the potential of seizing the positive ion in the air molecule and extracting it. This is why you must never forget to open a window and a door in the room that you are doing it. So that way these positive ions can exit. You're going to want to do it starting in one point of the room and going around it in a circular motion, because naturally these ions want to spiral. So when you go in a circular motion also, you are making sure that you're covering the whole space. The most important thing is you get into nooks and crannies. So go into your closet, go up in the high corners. It's very important. Get down low, do everywhere. In cupboards also, because they get trapped there. So, like, someone really scared me when I got some sage sometimes. They're like, bad spirits, they like to hide in the corners of your closet. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, but really, these aren't bad spirits. This is what Native Americans refer to as the bad spirits, but scientifically, it's the positive ions that are being trapped there. To surround yourself with more negative ions, you can go out and buy air purifiers. They, what they do is they bring more negative ions. Let's see. I just want to find a little bit about air purifiers. Well, I like this. Burn the incense, making sure you go into every corner, since different forces often remain trapped here. In olden times, houses were sometimes round or conical in shape, so if you're, building your house, maybe think about building circular rooms, which enable forces to circulate better, because the form that force naturally takes is the spiral. Do not forget items like wardrobes, cupboards, and drawers. When you have finished, close the windows. So, in general, it's good to purify your home every 3 to 4 months. And it is not necessary to treat the rooms and such, in such a detailed manner after the first one. You only need to spend longer in the rooms you frequent the most, or where you meditate or carry out any treatment. Nowadays you can buy air purifiers which generate the negative ions and are able to cut down pollution, because where there is a lot of pollution or areas that have been closed down, that's why when you sneak into mental hospitals or something, it doesn't feel right, because there's so much positive ions trapped there. So when you're saging people, what you want to do is start from the front. You're going to sage from the feet and go upward. And then you want to go behind and sage from the feet and go upward. So this is all I have right now of purifying. Best of luck to you with that. Always remain positive, and hopefully you'll have less positive ions around you when you keep that state of mind. It's never easy, but you always gotta take the situation and think, things happen for a reason. Life, you didn't come down here on the earth plane to have an easy life. The harder it is, I feel the better it is, because that means you really came down here to do some good work on yourself. And, when life is tough, you can't say that the Creator abandoned you, that He's not here for you, because that's when you know you're loved the most, when you're going through a lot. I like to think of it as the Tower card. And basically, with the Tower card, you feel like your whole foundation is falling apart. It is very stressful and disorienting, as you feel, everything that you worked upon to make your life secure and make sense of what you are doing no longer makes sense, and you feel like you have no control. And it's not easy when you don't feel like you don't have control. So basically you have to look at this as a divine upheaval. And you gotta have trust and faith that in the future things are going to make sense why that happened. And if they don't make sense, look at your life then and realize how it's better. And look at your life then and try to think, wow, I really didn't need that in my life. Or look at my situation now. And, you know, when you look back at those times, it may be a few days, the day after, but most importantly, I like to look at the situations and compare them months later, a year later. You know, right now in my life, I felt kind of lost. The hardest thing is I moved out at a really young age because I see things in different points of view than other people, and when you live with other people, it's hard to get them to see your way, especially if they're your parents sometimes. And I was a very strong-willed person. I was very stubborn. I hope I'm not like that now. I don't think I am, but because of that, I moved out. And, but it was really important to me that I went to school. I actually love educating myself. I feel like a lot of people do, but they don't find the time to do it, and that's completely understandable. That is why I'm so adamant about sharing with others what I read. I think most of the information is not online. The best information that you could find are in books. I have a lot of suggestions. I would love to make a playlist about the books that I do recommend. Again, this one is from this book. It is a great book. Let's see, just go a little bit off topic. Luc Bourgot, Blue Eagle Asti Catoni, has traveled across North America in his studies under the shamans, healers, and American Indian wise men. Here he records, for the first time ever, the secrets and teachings of the Cherokee and Apache tribes in particular, whose knowledge has always been passed down to generations by word of mouth only. That's what I'm seeing. A lot of the stuff that has been passed down by word of mouth is actually being written down, because I think we're starting to realize how important it is to save this for future generations. Because it might not be this generation that is seeking out this information, but these people may no longer, these people that have wisdom that are beyond our human comprehension, I feel like they're chosen. And a lot of people that are chosen, I feel in the past really embraced their calling, and I feel like people now escape from it because it's very overwhelming, and I feel that when people are called, they confuse these feelings of anxiety into their personal lives, because it does fill you with anxiety when you feel an overwhelming sense of urgency to fulfill a global purpose. And it might not even be global purpose, a personal purpose. We have both. And if we are able to extend our mission to just 3 people, that might be what you were supposed to do, you know? I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Anyway, in writing the book, he has the full support of his tribal elders, which I think is very important. That's what I'm struggling with now. I like to share a lot of information. I honestly do not feel that it's my place, but I share what I come across. Their great concern is that certain false information and bad practice are too widespread. Funny. They feel that this must be corrected before actual damage is done in the healing process or to the reputation of crystal healing. That's why I'm very glad that they are starting to put everything in writing instead of always going by word of mouth. So what I was saying, I'm not really sure what I was saying, but I just know that I was saying that I was stubborn. Oh, okay. I was stubborn, I wanted to move out early, and education was very important to me. And I built a life in one direction. And now I see my life going in a different direction. And I think a lot of us feel that way, especially this time, this whole paradigm shift. But we're scared, or we feel like there's no possible way that we can uproot ourselves, that divine upheaval. It was hard for me because it took me a long time to live on my own. I started off first renting out rooms under adults and other adults, which, I don't know, I guess that was more stressful than living under my parents, but I guess it's kind of like a statement for yourself, it makes you feel like you have a little bit more control in some way. And then I went to renting rooms with other people, and then I took charge and rented out a house. Well, I didn't rent out the house, but I rented a house because it was my idea. But you're kind of, I just always felt like it wasn't the right time to do that, sort of, because I always rented out with people that I wouldn't have chosen first, but I was grateful that they wanted to live on their own, because I feel like not a lot of people live on their own nowadays. So then I finally got a studio and a 1-bedroom, and now that I finally had my 1-bedroom, it was I had it took me a while to get all that furniture and everything else that you need for a house, and basically I got rid of it all in October of last year, so 2013, and that was very hard for me to get rid of all of that and then move into my boyfriend's parents' house. But they are so great, and I had so much anxiety before moving in here because I'm not used to living with other people anymore. I was scared of living under adults again, but I'm very happy, and I see that I'm going back to college for that new life path that I was hoping. Right now I'm studying holistic health, and I'm incorporating psychology into it, and the school that I'm going to offers different Native American courses, and I'm really hoping that they're going to actually offer them, because so far the course that I was looking really forward to taking is only offered in the fall, and I do not see it up for this fall, so I was very disappointed about that, but hopefully something will come about it. My life plan right now is to go out into the mid-states and hopefully work on a reservation or nearby, and encourage them to see that spirituality is still alive and well, and I feel that it is so important to embrace their culture now, because future generations really need to their elders right now, and because so much is word of mouth, what needs to be said needs to keep on being spread, because I know it's very hard for them to talk about it. I cannot say I can place myself in their shoes or even understand it, but I know that it's very hard for them to really express themselves what happened to them in so many ways. And, you know, a lot of people don't believe in hopefully the people that are still watching and what we believe in. I say but we have such diverse views, and I always say, who's right, you know? Let me know what you feel, because maybe I'll feel that way too, and if I don't feel that way, who cares? I'll still respect you, because who is right anyway? So, when you look at the tower, when you look at divine upheaval, or when you look as if your life is falling apart, don't get upset about it. Always embrace it warmly. And, you know, to go back to what we started with, purifying yourself, when you get those excess energy, when those big forces of energy that you need to release, come back to the peace within yourself and purify yourself. Also, a good note to end off with, when there's a big electrical storm, get yourself out there, because what happens is the negative ions are released, and that's why you feel so invigorated after an electrical storm. So go out for a nice walk. Bring the whole family. And I really appreciate you guys looking at my video. This is the start of something new. It's been a long time coming, so I'm really excited. And so much love.